What's going on? Hey, I'm joined here with Justin Ortiz and Juliana. That's so hard to say because I never say it all the way. I always say just Jules.
Jules.
Jules. But Juliana Ortiz, do I say it right?
Yeah,
Put a little swing. It's a mouthful, isn't it? It's like...
Yeah, that's what we just said.
It's the most Hispanic name I've ever heard. Juliana Anais Ramos
Yeah, I wish I could
Ortiz.
do that.
What?
I wish I could do that. Do it again. Do it again.
Juliana Anais Ramos Ortiz.
You know why people like accents? Because that just sounds sexy. You know what I'm saying? For real. Like, if you go to another country, which I've traveled a lot, okay? You hear someone else talk, and it's like, all right, it's different. They hear us, well, they hear me talk, honestly. You already sound kind of cool. And they're like, they know where you're from, typically. Maybe not what state, but they know you're from America. Second, then, they like our accent. And I'm like, we don't have one. Right? So it's just, grass is always greener type thing. Hey, so we've known each other for, I don't know, shit.
8 years?
8
years?
Yeah.
That's
More
it?
than that.
That's it?
No, more than that.
Damn.
14, right?
I don't
2014.
know, a long time.
Oh my gosh, a decade?
Yeah.
I mean, you've known me for a long time, but I just got to meet you a few years ago. But
Sure.
yeah. No, so we've known each other for a good bit of time, and
Thanks for being my #1 fan, by the way.
that's true. I am.
Appreciate
I actually am. You know, we've only slept together 3 times and snuggled twice. But no, here's what's crazy about that. You and I were talking at the gym today. Mm-hmm. You're like, damn, I got a birthday coming up. In my mind, I still feel like I'm your age. And then I heard how old you're turning. I'm like, well, that's not old, but it makes me feel older. And then I started thinking about the history of the time and what you guys have both done in a short period of time. But then time's a weird thing, right? Like, you got a birthday coming up this week. Mm-hmm. You got a birthday in 2 months.
Yep.
Right? And so what you guys have done in that period of time since I've known you, it's crazy, right? So give us a rundown of what you got going on. You went from martial arts world, competing, being top competitors, working in that industry, then converting that now into, stunts in the film world. So kind of give me a rundown of past few years, what you guys have done.
Yeah, I think actually a beautiful part of that section is like the seminars and the traveling that the martial arts opened up for us after we were competitors. I mean, we both started martial arts when we were super young, basically born on the mats. Both of our families, are martial artists and they had karate schools. So we kind of have that similar upbringing. And then started competing very young, did it for quite a bit of time. And then Justin still is, I think, the king of seminars and just staying booked and giving back to the martial arts community. And that was a great time. And then eventually transitioning into like the stunts in the film industry has been also another beautiful opener.
So when you got into the stunt world, was that a plan or did it kind of have an accident?
Kind of both.
Okay.
And we had people that always pushed us to do stunts. And, at first we were like, no, we have our business. We're doing what we're doing.
I'm surprised you got into it, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
By knowing you for this period of time, and you are great at doing the seminars, and you're a great educator, teacher, and you could be hardcore and tough when you need to be. You also can be very soft when you need to be. So I kind of saw you, even if it wasn't martial arts, being more in the, education, something along, which you do, obviously, you still kind of do that, but...
Yeah. I think that's still, a goal of mine, which is, professional speaking, getting out there.
That's kind of where I thought you would go.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a goal. It's just me in general, like growing up as a kid, I just always felt like, I still need to do more as far as like being on the spotlight.
Yeah,
like I loved performing. I love creating. And I think doing stunts actually got me closer to like finding out what I'm truly passionate about, which was super awesome. Creating. I love creating. And using the martial arts, our skills to help that is a benefit. I mean, we definitely have an advantage because of it.
Yeah, of course, right.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that's kind of crazy too is Jules gets a lot of, pop because one female, and a lot of females who are also going to be able to do like every time you throw that high kick in there and hold it. That's still every time I brag about you, I show a picture like that, right? And people are like, well, no way, she can't do that.
Oh, same.
And so like
Thanks.
people expect guys to kind of be doing it in the martial arts, and so seeing a female who's attractive and well spoken, educated, and can kick ass at the same time. But obviously you were a fighter. most people don't expect the fighters, quote unquote, to be able to do the trick kicks, to flip, and all those other things,
No.
and you don't even really show it off until all of a sudden you break it out, and it still amazes me to this day. It's like, have you seen him doing this shit? Like,
Not even jack of all trades. Like he does so well in all
Right.
the areas. Like you put a bow in his hand, he can give you traditional bow, he can give
Yeah.
you CMX, he can give you XMA, he
Just-
can toss it, turn it, throw it. You put a sword in his hand, he is well versed in
Yeah.
any weapon, any style. Like he has
yeah,
his affinity to the martial arts is so true. It's so through and through and everything that he does that it makes him successful at whatever he tries to
you
do.
you guys can keep this going.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
lovely. No, I'm just gonna. I really
For real,
appreciate
the
it. It
stuff
means
Jackson
a lot.
can do,
but-
all the trick, he can, like, and you would not expect it.
I want to say all of it.
Jackson's pretty up there. Jackson's elevated.
pretty-
Jackson's got it going on.
So
Definitely
before we
got
jump
it.
into the film world, right? Because I'm gonna throw some hard questions too. Because just because you're my buddies, I'm not gonna take it easy on you. So I asked somebody that was at dinner with us last night, college basketball player, okay, and I asked him, hey, if your potential at a 10, if you were at the absolute best you could absolutely be, how far could you take basketball? He's like, I'd be playing NBA. He thinks his talent at his 10, he's an NBA player. I says, well, today, right now at dinner, where are you at? If that's the 10, where are you at right now when you play? He said, a 7. And I asked him this question, and I'm giving you some context here. I says, if you're a 7 today and 10, it puts you in the NBA, okay? The gap from 7 to 10 is a lot bigger than 1 to 7.
Absolutely.
I says, why are you not paying the price to get to the 10? I already knew the answer, by the way, okay? And so he never thought about it that way, right? Because for him to pay off at 10, it's not worth the work because he really doesn't want it, right?
Right.
No one can, even if, now first of all, we could say, man, how awesome would that be? But if your heart's not in it, you're not going to do the work. You're going to give up on it. So if 10's his potential, he's a 7. And I says, so where's your heart? And he's got this whole other thing, which we heard them talk about that yesterday. So in just in the martial arts world, if you're both, I'm asking both of you guys this question, if your potential at a 10, if you had applied and exhausted everything, how far could martial arts gone for you?
I mean, I think for me in particular, like I was at my 10.
Okay.
As far as career-wise, well, I would say maybe 9.
Okay.
And becoming a professional kickboxer, like okay, I was like, okay, I'm getting there, like and being world champion in karate and kickboxing.
You feel like you exhausted your potential.
As far as karate goes, I felt like I did.
Okay.
And I always said that, like I felt like I was hitting a ceiling, seeing the same faces, doing the same places.
Right.
And sometimes it gets
You
boring.
got complacent, right?
Yeah, it gets complacent. Getting into kickboxing, where I was like, that was new, and you becoming a professional, that was new. It was like, okay, but I felt like I reached that, and I could have took that definitely further.
Okay.
It was just something in the back of my head that just, I guess I wasn't as passionate about it.
Sure.
When I think about my martial arts career and, my training, everything was like, you got to do this, do this, do this, do this. And it was almost like, I guess, a force to do it rather than what I really wanted to do.
Right.
But I mean, I'm grateful for it. Definitely got me to the point that I was at some point. But obviously, me learning more and growing more got me to that higher point. But it was just once I reached that, and I felt like I became professional at kickboxing. I was like, I want to do something different.
Yeah.
I want to do something that's challenging to
But
me.
what I'm saying though
something
is,
that's
and
new.
this is kind of go with you too, Jules. In that arena, whether it be teaching, doing, competing, you felt like you've exhausted where you feel like you can hang the hat up, so to speak, and like I checked all the boxes I wanted to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How about with you? If the 10 was your, like, what would have been your 10 if you like had nothing else in life but you were driven all the way? Like, where do you think your potential was?
I think I stepped out at a 7.
Okay.
And that was enough for me to touch everything that I would have lived in at a 10. And they were all rather empty shells when I just touched them. So I didn't want to.
The payoff wasn't.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
right, yeah.
That 7 to 10 gap
Yeah.
wasn't worth it
Right,
for
the
me
price you'd have
either.
to pay, yeah.
Yes. So like the No, I was gonna say like the showmanship, like the travel, the teaching, the business side of the industry, the showman, like the capitalizing on social media. Like there is a ceiling, and you can take it pretty far, but it's not worth living in the highest form of
Sure.
that for me. And so it was like, oh, I get a taste of this and I like it, but it's not worth putting that energy into that.
Well, let me have a follow up here. Is there anything you didn't do that you're like, man, like in martial arts, is there something you didn't win? Is there something you didn't go experience that you're like, damn it, I wish I could have gotten that done, right? No.
No boxes left unchecked for
Okay,
me. I
sure.
mean, I won a few overalls. I didn't feel like I needed to have
Right.
overalls in NASCA. I got on a podcast actually soon after I had just like retired from NASCA, and I had only
Such a
won
weird
like
word to say, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I had
I've never
Said
never
that
said
word.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Never said it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just come back one day, whoop everybody's ass.
I mean, I can still fight, baby.
There's a 30+ group.
no, I
If I came back, I would definitely do 18 plus. I wouldn't.
Play with the kids.
Yeah. But go ahead if you want to finish.
I
You
just
can
real
tell
quick.
they're married. It's like, you go, no, you go.
I did a podcast soon after I had retired, and they were like over in Russia, I believe, and they said, "You won every single NASCA overall grand championship known, and you graced every stage and this and that." And I was like,
Whose resume are you looking at?
me? You talking to me? Like, are we on the same
Right,
page?
right.
I mean, yes, I was on stage, but it really drove home that feeling of it's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Sure.
So it wasn't that I was going on stage and expecting to win overalls. To me, it was enough to be on that stage and leave every fiber of my being on that mat and leave knowing that those people didn't watch the scores. They left knowing how I made them feel.
Yeah.
And so that was enough for me. And so I didn't need the check mark, I won the US Open.
Right,
Or,
right, right.
oh, check mark, oh, I went to the Olympics. Like I never craved any of the other stuff. I feel like I had enough, and I built a platform that I could use to inspire young women to be better and use the martial arts and have a good role model. And so I felt that I exhausted all paths on that.
Something you haven't experienced yet, and you probably experienced this as teachers, not as a parent yet. There's things for me I felt like I didn't accomplish that I wish I could have, and there's a lot of reasons why, because I wasn't intelligent enough or in the right circles to understand what I should have been striving for. So there's confusion. So I do have some regrets for me personally. However, some of those things I didn't get to check the box on, Jackson is close to. And so last year when he was in the night show for US Open, and obviously he performed good, didn't win, and I wasn't at the event that year, and I'm watching from home. I was a nervous wreck because you just don't want him to drop. I'm doing weapons. I'm pacing the floor. I can't, I have this, I'm superstitious. I can't actually watch. So everyone else in the house is watching on TV, and I'm like walking down. I'm just waiting for, you're waiting for the, feel like there's a drop or the cheers, whatever. But the feeling of the rush, and I've seen my students do stuff well, but your son or your daughter doing something, it's a whole nother level to see somebody accomplish something or to get to a certain level you haven't been to. So I think what's cool is I get to kind of even have some of those feelings like when you guys do stuff, and I am a fan, honestly, because I'm part of y'all's story. And so like when you guys do stuff, I love bragging about you guys. Even at dinner last night, I pulled that guy over to the side because I already told you, it's like, hey, we're gonna get this guy involved in the future. Pulled him aside. I was bragging about both of you guys. Even like when y'all pulled the short film out, which I will transition to that. But like that's a next level. So like some of the stuff you say that, hey, we accomplished everything. I guarantee. Maybe you have kids one day, depending on how the life goes out, whatever. That question will be different how you answer in the future, because then it's like, all right, what you want to see accomplished, because you've done that with students. Like you get this high when you've helped someone do something they didn't think they could do, there's that sense of excitement, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When it's somebody that's your family, it's a whole other level too. All right, I'm gonna transition away from quote unquote karate, but into you guys did something smart. Is you've leveraged your experience in that world and your influence in that world. Now you've transitioned to a career where you got into stunts. And then obviously now I want you guys to kind of bring me to speed. You've taken that concept and did that really well and making that into a career. And now you're getting into kind of even the back end on that where you're now part of the production and the execution of actually bringing teams together. So give me kind of the dream, pull down the present time, and wrap it to the, for the layman who doesn't necessarily know that world, how that all works together.
Tell them about the dream.
I want to know the dream, baby.
Dream.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll go again.
She's the boss lady.
Big dream is we have a production company that lets
What's her name? Gotta give the name.
Our production company is Rec Hard Productions. So Rec Hard in the stunt industry, to wreck is to hit the ground, to kind of like a fall is a wreck. And when somebody's gonna go off on set and, it's instead of saying good luck or good skills or break a leg in stunts, sometimes you're just like, hey, wreck hard, like hit the ground hard, And so we wanted to kind of translate our stunt background into this production company, and it's Rec Hard Productions.
When you start using that around here,
Yeah, like
just throw it around.
attack the ground, go hard. And so,
Trademark that shit.
hey,
Gotcha.
So Rec Hard Productions, it aims to really feed the creatives and give them the stability and consistency and the respect that they deserve that the industry giants just don't give. We just recently had a strike that passed.
How long was that? 5 months or?
It's about 5.
Yeah, it was a
4 or
good
5
bit.
months.
No, and just so we have a better understanding, because I was kind of following through people that y'all are connected to, and it was just the stunt industry, or was it like extras and like what a whole?
So the AMPTP is the producers guild, and the SAG guild or the SAG Union,
actors, right?
yes, is the actors, the performers, puppeteers, stunts, anybody that gets on camera, background extras, so all that. And so it was basically a power play. The producers kind of said, no, you guys don't deserve more, even though inflation has gone up. No, you don't deserve residuals, even though we've translated from TV residuals and movies and theaters to this streaming online every time, anytime, whenever you want. Millions and millions of eyes on a production that you worked on, but no, you don't get any cut of that. So things that people were banking on, or even like health pension, like just 86% I think of performers didn't qualify for health benefits. And so it was this fear mongering of just, hey, you guys don't deserve more. You guys should be grateful at everything that we do. You guys need us. But the only thing that the producers hold is an audience, which is the subscription services, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, and money. But if you think about it, SAG, our union, is everything else. It's the entire life cycle of a production. It's the pre-production, it's the planning, it's the creativity, it's the labor that goes into getting all that done. And then it's the actual production, the people that are on the camera. It's the people that bring all this labor and creativity to life. And then it's post-production, coming into ADR and do the voiceovers and all that stuff.
So when this went on for 5 months, you're not making an income?
Nothing.
It's a little scary.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Yeah. And a lot of times fear is enough to immobilize. And so
they're trying to
shut us
squeeze,
down.
Yeah, squeeze you out, yeah.
Absolutely. And it did. For a lot of people, it did. But I think Justin and I were actually inspired by that fear. It was like, nobody should feel like this. Right. And if you think about it, if you break it down, if you really look at it, the AMPTP is not, those producers, those big industry giants are not the only people with an audience, and they're not the only people with money. There is so much money out there, you just got to go get it.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
there's so many eyes out there. You can build your own platforms. That's why we have social media. And I think they are actually so scared that they were trying to put that on us.
Yeah, I got you. Makes sense.
And so we really started to capitalize on the numbers that we had worked so hard to build over time on our social media. And we started to capitalize on the fact that we know people that want to invest money into bringing these dreams and these things come to life. And so we decided, you know what, we're going to create that stability and that respect for creatives around us and feed our own network and give us the opportunity to do what we love and those around us to do what they love.
Yeah, and create a good culture.
And create a good culture, because culture is everything.
So with this production company, it's going to create the opportunity for you guys to take care of people, is what it sounds like.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the dream.
So fast forward 5 years down the road, how big does this thing get?
Oh, I mean, box office,
Okay.
3 years down,
so you're
box
saying
office.
There's in the future,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to the movie theater right down the road here on this street.
Yeah.
Right? Regal Cinemas is headquartered in Knoxville, Tennessee. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to go to the Regal on Gay Street here. I'm going to walk in, and it's going to be a production from Red Card.
Red Card Productions. That's right. It's going to
Yeah.
be a movie, feature film.
Absolutely. Uh-huh.
Absolutely. And what's going to be awesome about it is going to be a lot of familiar faces that help get us there. So
I like that.
Yeah. It's all
So-
about community and feeding back to it.
So, and I know this, but give me kind of a context of like, what kind of films do you guys see that y'all being part of?
Well, coming from this stunt industry, we're obviously very action heavy, action enthusiasts, but we want to give back to the people that the fans, like the
Right.
audience that we are catering to. It's those real big creatives that comment back on your stuff and interact with us and say, "Oh man, it would be so cool if they made a movie that
Right. ...
Or we'll be sitting around a campfire and all of a sudden we're like, dude, did you see how in this movie they did this crazy wreck? Now imagine if we put that same person on wires and they got sent back. And then we just make these crazy creative things come to life that nobody else is really attempting to do because it wouldn't push out content quick enough. It would cost too much. It would take too much time. So it's to feed the creative.
Side note, we can talk off camera, but you know I went to film school, right? You know this?
I forgot. But yeah, you're right.
And,
You like dramas.
well, but there's one film screenplay that I wrote 20 years ago that I've been wanting to do my entire life. And I would, if someone would do it, I would finance it. I would, because it would be badass. But
do
side note. So speaking of which, one, you do need to raise money because you got stuff you want to do. So you're gonna need people to be part of that world.
Absolutely.
So people that are interested in, being part of something that somewhat is a startup, but it has a big dream attached to it, and it's people that I can vouch for that are going to work hard, right? Something we can work towards to attract together. You're going to take care of people. You're going to create great content. Let's say everything goes perfect. Perfect. You get the whole dream. What would be the thing beyond that you feel like, man, if I hit all this out of the park, everything goes right. Like, what's next? Have you ever thought about next? Are you so like...
in a way, I mean, I've had a vision to always be the next Disney.
Okay.
And when I
And
mean
what do you mean by that? Like,
Okay.
Is it
Yeah.
a theme park or
Oh, no.
what are we, right?
all of it.
Okay, all of it, all right. That's a big dream. I
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
a huge dream, and I love Disney. You know, I'm a big fan of Disney. Although we did
Right.
have some issues with Disney as far as the strike goes.
Sure,
Actually,
yeah.
you know,
But I'm sure Walt was rolling in his grave. That was not of Walt's doing.
I feel the same way. I feel that the culture that he created wasn't the same type of people.
Like Elon versus Disney, have you read a little bit about that?
No.
No.
On your car ride back, you should research a little bit of that.
Yeah, so I feel like, the goal of obviously the movies, but creating that culture and then creating an environment and then creating a place where people could be immersed in that environment would be super cool.
Okay.
So obviously we're feeding off of an audience that comes from a social media platform.
Sure.
So eventually I would love our own platform where this is non-exclusive content. So it reaches more eyes. We get to feed more communities, but this is an interactive place. And so kind of like a Reddit meets Netflix meets Instagram meets just a platform where I'm sure this isn't like brand new. It's just
Right.
another social media, but it integrates kind of the feel where we're coming from. into a larger life.
The other thing is there's an unknown too, because technology is going to keep going faster, and like what we have now won't be what we have.
Well, and that's one of the scary things about being in the stunt world is, you know, having AI and might change a lot of jobs for people. Yeah.
Digi-doubles in front of my face. Oh no, we're 100% certain we can have the digi-double do that.
Yeah.
So why am I here?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting a paycheck, sure.
Actually, here's my little 2 cents on this. I think we're going to go so tech heavy for a period of time that people are going to crave this.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think it's going to eventually pivot.
There's going to be a shift, and it's going to have to come back because sometimes when you watch things with CGI, you're like,
you can tell.
You can tell it's not the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same feeling, same emotion.
There's a movie,
and I think that's super
remember
important.
the director right now off the top of my head, and if I wasn't recording this, I'd probably come up with it. But he made a movie. It was called El Mariachi. I can't say it pronounced right. Low budget, but it was so well done. Man, it'll come to me in a minute. That they redid the movie, recast it. He was able to raise money. I think he raised maybe $10 million to do it the second time around. And the second version of this movie was called Desperado, and it reignited a guy named Antonio Banderas. Right? If you remember, this was y'all were super young.
This is Quentin Tarantino's like.
Protege, basically, right? It wasn't
Quentin Tarantino was his protege.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I forgot who. I know
Anyway,
you're talking about. I forgot his name.
Reminds me, it's like this guy.
Desperado is a great movie.
He basically just had a camera and a story, and he shot it with like no money, basically. But because of the way it was written, and then he knew. Remember that one person I told you? He knew the one person he needed to pitch it to, so he got the right person's attention, got the money, was able to redo the film, and it was box out, and it wasn't a one-hit wonder. He had other things after that. But a lot of times what people do is they think that they're trying to get all the way to that end goal right off the bat the first time around. So if it's not perfect, they don't do it. And this guy literally made a film, but then he knew, what is it? That's him, Robert Rodriguez, yeah. Which then, other movies he did? Spy Kids. Mm-hmm. And guess who's in those movies?
Antonio.
So what happens is he created a concept, right? And then he went deep
And
into
Danny
relationships.
Trejo.
Okay. So I kind of see that's a possibility for you guys. You get something going.
One of the movies that I keep mentioning to her is Clerks.
Yep.
It was a budget of $25,000. Kevin Smith,
and still,
he just did it.
Still making
did his
money.
friend, and it's still making money, and it's crazy the net worth that he has now.
It's off of one thing.
Obviously, he built up and
all the
expanded.
things that he's doing
from
now
there.
too.
Yeah, but I always tell them, look at he started with a $25,000 budget, and there's cheaper ones. I mean. We were looking at
Paranormal Activity, the Blair Witch Project. Yeah.
Was 16,000.
You know the first big, most successful karate movie? Billy Jack. You ever read about that?
No.
You need some research on that.
I gotta do that. Oh.
This is so. There's actually a series of movies he did.
Billy Jack, the one with the.
He wore a cowboy hat.
The cowboy hat.
It was the first movie with actually.
I'll hit you on this side of the face. Yes, I remember.
But you got to see how much money he did, and he actually went town to town with the movie, and it's still making money to this day. Crazy. Wow. But yeah, I mean it still exists. That Blair Witch Project, all these things still exist, but it's a matter of, I think some people are just hoping luck happens. Like you can actually, the one person you're trying to attract with your story, right?
And I think a big thing that is not common enough in our industry is progress over perfection. Yeah. People are so obsessed with, what will they think? But every time that you finish a project, you've already outgrown that project so much, you hate looking at it. But everybody else thinks it's great.
I do that with texting. I don't even correct the text. Like, go.
Just send it, and you'll fix it on the next one. And then that, exponential growth comes. But if you just keep holding back, you don't let yourself get to that next step that is going to teach you even more lessons to get you where you want to be. So, yeah.
All right, so we'll drop the link because it's on YouTube, right? Your first short film that we have released, right?
Yeah. Hit Me.
And it's 6 minutes, 42 seconds?
6 minutes, 42 seconds.
So we'll drop that link on here so people can watch that. What's going to be the best way for people to follow your story? Instagram or follow that?
Oh, yeah. Instagram is a good way to follow us because we're always posting what we're doing. But yeah, at the Ortiz Experience.
And I'm karate.jules on all the platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. And
we'll drop those handles here too.
Yeah, thanks.
So you're at 700-something thousand. Okay. When you hit
ridiculously good.
Yeah. When you hit 1 million, you have a big party.
We'll celebrate. We'll celebrate.
I feel
we'll celebrate.
You know this, but I'm at 700,000 now. I already celebrated 1 million. 1 million's coming. Whether I like it or not, 1 million's gonna be here before I do.
There will-
So I'm
there will be
already.
a celebration.
There will be some sort
gonna
of
celebrate
celebration,
for
but
We're gonna
I
celebrate
feel
together.
like I
You
feel
got
like I'm
710,000 followers right now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm at 1 million already mentally, so I'm already like, okay, how do I get to 2 million?
Yeah.
That'll be something worth celebrating. So yes, it'll be a celebration of sorts, but mentally, I'm on to the next. I'm ready for the next goal.
Gotcha. But I mean, that's a pretty damn big thing on the
Is
social
it?
media world.
Yeah,
It's
for
a
sure.
currency. It's a currency.
And
You can leverage
I
that.
feel like it's especially huge when, one, what I'm very proud of her is that her content is clean, you know,
Sure, yeah.
and she stays true to who she is.
Yeah.
Martial arts driven as well, which I love. And on top of that, like you weren't
I'm curious about somebody else.
you weren't famous, you know, starting this off.
Right. Right. You didn't start with
Cool.
like.
You didn't start off with fame already, so people are like,
I wasn't even a world champion in
yeah, at the time, yeah. So which is pretty awesome. What is it?
That makes me happy. That makes me happy. That makes me happy. All
But
right. So
I think to leave it off, we always talked about. You always heard me say this in my seminars. We take the opportunity because we make the opportunity,
yeah.
and I think that's what we're doing. Rec Art Productions. We saw a need, we saw an opportunity, and also too there was an opportunity. So we said let's create it.
Yeah, I like that.
And you know, if there's not money coming in, create the money.
Yeah.
But not even just the money. It's about opportunity. It's about for some people, it's that chance of a lifetime that we want to give them. So this is what drives us to do what we do.
Yeah, it was, I think like the turning point was seeing some of our best friends and some of the best talents to grace our TV screens as stunt performers. Like I'm talking Marvel movies, like doubling like the biggest superheroes you know having to drive Uber.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just seeing some of our favorite like people that are just so talented and can edit something like whiz when it comes to this film industry. And because our life is on hold at the mercy of somebody else, they're working at Starbucks.
You know, and a lot of them don't have the tools that we have, or
Right,
The
it-
network.
or the
Right,
business
right.
knowledge that like we do other things to create money if
Right.
things like that happen, which is unfortunate. So it's like, okay, if we have the ability and knowledge, then let's do something for that.
I like it.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, so we'll drop that so you can watch the film here, and they can follow you guys. And you know, appreciate you guys. First of all, I'm proud of you,
Thank you.
and I'm excited, and I know y'all gonna. It's gonna be awesome.
Thank
I can't
Well,
wait.
you know we love you.
Love you too.
Thank you, Aaron.
All right, guys. Hey, follow these guys on social media. Let's follow their story, and then we'll have a big ass party when we hit 1 million.
Oh yeah.
Peace out, guys. See you.